Good evening, everybody. Hello. Hope all is well. Hey, James. Hey, James.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's up? How are you?
I'm fine. I'm better when I had, this like a really ugly case of bronchitis. So those of you who are used to seeing me and had it, that's what's going on. I got a couple of phone calls. Thank you, everyone who called to ask if I was okay, what was going on. Appreciate it. I appreciate you thinking about us and asking about James. Y'all good? Y'all all right? We're good. We're all right. It was me. It was me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Her bronchitis kind of wiped me out this time. It was probably, I think, the worst case I've had. It was disgusting. Not fun at all. So we're going to stay on as long as we can. Right now, I'm looking at the baby monitor, and Jacob is tossing and turning a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, what's going on with you?
Unfortunately, nothing has. Well, fortunately, unfortunately, nothing. Not much has changed.
Yeah.
Still, doing what I gotta do. So
School, and work, and baby, and baby mama,
yeah,
all of the above.
yeah.
Hey, James Jacobs, how are you? As you guys are coming in, say hello. Thanks for hanging out with us. But tonight, we wanted to continue our conversation actually now from 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Because like I said last week, one of you acted like I was going to say anything worth hearing, or you were going to be able to hear me because I sounded like a whole man, a whole grown man. And we started talking about 2 weeks ago about moving from dreams to vision. And it was actually something you said. James Jacobs, he said, I need some hot tea. You think I need some hot tea? Good advice, thank you. Hot tea one day. Something you said, he said with lemon and halls. I'm not drinking that mess. God bless you. But no, my mom used to make that for me. It was tea and lemon and halls and something else in it. And it knocked the cold out of you, but it don't do nothing for bronchitis. But anyway, we were talking about moving from dreams to vision. And I was hoping that do you remember what you said?
No.
You said something along the lines of your dreams are for you, but vision is for everybody else. And so how important it is to move from having dreams to be visionary or to having a vision. So can you unpack that a little bit before we do?
I'll do the best I can.
Okay.
It's been a while.
I'm proud. I understand. It's my fault.
So we're unpacking dreams to visions, or exactly what are you asking?
If you remember, what did you mean by that? Like that it's important for us to move from just dreaming to having a vision. Why is that even important? What's the significance in making that shift?
Okay. Kind of dial it back. I'm glad. Actually, that's a good question. Well, not a good question. It is a good question, but I was reading in Ecclesiastes, in chapter 5, verse 1 through, I want to say verse 8. Hold on, let me just do this.
While he's doing
Give me a
that,
second. Give me a second.
y'all chime in. What do you think? do you think it's important that we move from dreams to visions? And I guess while he's looking that up, I'll talk about dreams, right?
All
Oh,
right.
you got it?
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish your thought out.
So I was thinking about like when thinking about having had this conversation, I started thinking about like my original dream for my life
Mm-hmm.
versus the vision that I lived out,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so the original dream was that I would go into broadcast journalism. That was that original dream, and that's why, like, I speak the way I speak. I had like training in how to speak publicly and all of this other kind of stuff, and so I was very much leaning toward going that route, and then that dream turned into a vision for my life, and it wasn't just my life, but for the lives of those who would be connected to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't necessary that I go into broadcast journalism, which, by the way, was very disappointing for my mother. She had it all planned out. She had everything prepared for me. But it was more important that I fulfill the vision, which was going to take me down a route that was a little more bumpy, not as planned out, and quite frankly, not as lucrative. But that vision switched over, and it switched over primarily because of something you said last week, because of my relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking about myself,
Mm-hmm.
point blank, in terms of my dream, like what I would want to do, my dream job,
Mm-hmm.
but then had to follow that that instruction that took me down a different path.
Mm-hmm.
So
All right, let me read this to you real quick. Let me stay on topic. Ecclesiastics, chapter 5. I'm starting at verse 1. Guard your steps when you go to the house of God. Better to draw near in obedience than offer the sacrifices as a fool do. For they are ignorant and do wrong. Do not be hasty to speak, and do not be impulsive to make a speech before God. God is in heaven, and you are on earth. So let your words be few, for dreams result from much work, and a fool's voice from many words. When you make a vow to God, do not delay fulfilling it, because he knows he knows not delight in fools. Fulfill what you vow. So dreams to vision. So I read that because what they contribute. Solomon's the writer of Ecclesiastics. That's what they say, but you're not really sure. But
right,
that style.
right,
All right. So that text is talking about, when you. I'll phrase it like this, because we're talking about dreams. When you tell God what you want to do versus what He has called you to do,
yes.
you begin to speak out of, as we say, the side of your mouth.
We begin to speak
Right.
foolishly, right?
So it's better just to be silent and focus on God and be obedient to what He has, the lane He has carved out for you, rather you trying to do what you want to do. So how do we get dreams to vision? So dreams, again, dreams, typically this is just my interaction with dreamers, they talk a whole lot.
Mm.
And this is what this text is saying.
Mm-hmm.
Talk.
Right.
Visionaries are typically quiet. They speak when they need to speak. They're speaking when they're spoken to, but they're too busy working.
Mm.
They're too busy getting things in line, too busy, self-improvement or connecting with others, or allowing ourselves to be trained or educated, if you will. So this text is just speaking to that. Whatever you vow to God, if you tell God, hey God, this is what I'm going to do, this is what you called me to do, be committed to it.
Right.
Be committed to it. So that's I wanted to bring that up because I thought it was a very interesting text when it came to that question that you asked about dreams and visions.
I think that we get stuck in dream, right? Because we have this desire to be great. And I don't think that in and of itself is bad.
I don't either.
I think that is the purpose of dreams, to produce in you this desire to be great.
Inspired.
Right, to inspire your desire to be great. But I think that when you get stuck right there and can't see past just your greatness, but can't see that it also needs to include how you're going to be able to benefit and help other people grow, then I think you get stuck, because now you're only looking at how it benefits you, what you can get out of it, and how your dream serves you. And I think that is what keeps people stuck in the place of dreaming, because they're just looking at, and I'm thinking about somebody in particular that we didn't talk about this individual today, but the class of individual, I think that's why this person is stuck where they are, is because they're not looking at the larger picture. And I think that's even the conversation that you had with them. Like, you got to look at this from a different angle now. You're in a different position now. You have different demands on your life now. If you don't look at this from a different angle, you're going to get stuck dreaming. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're going to get stuck dreaming. And there's nothing wrong with having your dream, because your dream is what's going to cause you to pursue greatness. But at some point, you need to change that over to vision, because vision will make you make the decision that's best for all, everybody attached to you. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Or rather, what are you thinking?
I'm just trying to form to start, because my brain's starting to tick now. So I know.
Long silences aren't good for these, babe. Pregnant pauses.
I think I could be misspeaking, but I mean, we live, so I think dreams have a destination, right? But vision doesn't have necessarily a destination. I think vision has this continuance of growth, this continuous journey, where dreams typically have a destination. I dream to have this. I dream to go here. I dream about this, coming to an end. I dream about this. Typically, when you have a vision, it may have a destination, but the vision pushes you to go beyond that particular destination, because unlike dreams, vision never turns into nightmare.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like
explain.
A dream can very quickly turn into a nightmare.
I'm listening.
You know what I mean? It can very quickly turn into a nightmare because it doesn't go the way you want it to go, or you don't get to where you want to go, and that becomes a nightmare. With a vision, there's always this continual journey. There's never an end to it, right? So it's a continual process. Maybe there are goals or particular success marks along the way.
Success marks along the way, yeah.
But there's no end. There's no end goal. Like my vision, is to, if I had a vision to open up a church, there is no closure to that. Right. It's like, okay, my vision is for it to look like this, and as we continue to walk in that vision, it will continue to grow, it will continue to evolve. But if I dream about having a church, I'm gonna dream the way I want the church to look. I'm gonna dream about the members I want to have, and that's going to just be my end goal.
And once
I get that goal, I'm settled. I'm good. I've accomplished my dream. So if you think about, I'm sorry to cut you off. Like most athletes, and Kevin Durant comes to mind. when he went to Golden State, he dreamed about being a champion. And one of the things he said once he became a champion was, I dreamed about this, but it doesn't feel like the way I thought it would feel.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I accomplished this,
What is it?
right? So now he's on his journey of just enjoying playing basketball. His vision of playing basketball, he thought was being a champion, but it's really just enjoying the game, just being a player. So yes, there's some goals or landmarks. Yes, he wants to be a champion again, but that's not end all be all for him. Because he realized that, that dream of being a champion was fulfilled, but it wasn't fulfilling. You understand?
Yeah.
A dream is it fulfills, but a vision is fulfilling. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do actually. Like I really do, and because I was, like I said, contemplating that switch that happened for me when it moved from a dream to a vision. I had both a vision that you sort of see, but also very clear direction as to where to go next. And each of those steps has been extraordinarily fulfilling. And it had, like you spoke about, these landmarks along the way. So I did have a physical vision that turned into my vision, and that physical vision included, and I remember it so vividly, it included a classroom, it included a pulpit, and it included a very large stage. I've been in that classroom, and I remember when I had that moment where I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been on that pulpit, and I remember having that moment of saying, oh, wait a minute, this is what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't been on that large stage yet. But it keeps me pushing past, and all of the in between. What I was getting ready to say when you were speaking is that a vision seems to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
That you don't have, it's not a destination, it's the process of getting
Mm-hmm.
to these various signposts.
Mm-hmm. Marks of accomplishments.
These various marks of accomplishment. That's a good way of saying it. It's the process of getting there that sort of morphs, and then you get the opportunity to see or have vision within vision.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How do I get from here to this point, and how do I get from here to that point? And it morphs within it, and it also includes all of the people that are attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna say?
Nothing. I was just listening.
Yeah. So that I was, like I said, just sort of reflecting on that move from dream to vision for me. And you all chime in. What do you think? Or do you think that it's important to have a vision for your life, a vision for where you're going, a vision for your call? And if so, how did you move from dream to vision? And I think that that's the other thing. It's scary to abandon dream. Do you think so?
No, I don't think people abandon. I don't believe people abandon dreams. I believe dreams abandon them, because a lot of times dreams are not necessarily true. It's just an idea of what you desire. What you desire, not necessarily what God desires for you.
But I think the whole process of letting go of that, because I know it was scary for me because it was like uncharted territory.
I don't know.
Like I knew that if I went down a certain road,
Mm-hmm.
everything was mapped out for me.
Okay.
By people, right? Like there was a guaranteed job. There was, I already had some connections in the field. So if I had gone down this road,
was it that was your dream? I don't know. I didn't have a dream for my life, so I really, yeah, I really can't say.
I'm surprised by that.
Why?
Because you're an athlete.
Yeah, but that was just a way of escape, and plus, I came to I played sports, but the idea of going beyond high school was kind of really late. So it was not necessarily never a dream to
Okay.
go pro. It was like, oh, maybe I could.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a dream of mine at all. Not even close.
So you came out the womb with a vision.
No, that didn't come until later.
So what were you doing? You just out here?
Surviving. I think dreams are cultivated by your environment.
So they were
Like
privileged.
the things, I think,
Are you trying to- is that
I
what
think
you're
dreams are influenced by your environment. Dreams are influenced by what you know, like I said, your environment, what you grow around, or things you are around gives you that idea of what life could be for you. And from that, it influences you to dream about your life.
Mm.
You know, I dream about this. I dream about that. Why? Where did that come from? That come from the influences that's around you. Versus vision. Vision is a pursuit, you know, after purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have time to dream when you have vision, because vision has this innate ability to be true before it even become manifest. There's a interesting level of faith that you have when it comes to vision versus dreams.
Mm.
Dreams is like, I gotta hustle, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, without necessarily a true direction. But when you have a vision, it's like, okay, you sit down, it almost makes you sit down and plan it out, because it pulls on you. Versus a vision drives you. I mean, a dream drives you. A vision pulls on you versus a dream that drives you. Dreams drive you to do certain things and motivate you to do certain things, and push you to do certain things. But a vision, it pulls on you. Like, I have to do this. You know what I mean? I have to go this way. I have to connect with these people. I have to get out of my comfort zone. You know, it's a burden that's on you that you just can't let go. You're wrestling with that thing. Even people that pursue their dreams and maybe accomplish the things that they dream about, but then there's still this sense of purpose, this vision that they have outside of what they dreamed about, that pulls on them. Like, okay, it's time for me to find out what I'm called to do, is find out to do something that's bigger than me. And that's where that vision comes from.
How did you come to a place of understanding your purpose? Because I think that's key, right? In order to really do that switch from dream to vision, it comes from purpose. Well, it comes from God,
Right.
But discovering your purpose, I think that's key in terms of having a
I think
vision.
it's different for everyone. So, like, discovering my purpose never came from something I want to do. Discovering my purpose really just came from recognizing I have a gift.
Mm.
So from there, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I can impact people's lives. Oh, I have, this level of influence. Now, how I'm going to use this gift of influence?
Mm.
So from there, it's like, okay, there's a sense of purpose when it comes to me being a leader.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sense of purpose when it comes to me developing leaders.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have to kind of go back and be like, okay, this is bigger than me. Now I have to really get out of myself and become the best version of myself. I got to start reading information, soaking up books, getting around people that's in leadership, having these conversations, doing things that I didn't want to do. I didn't want to go back to school. You know what I mean? I didn't want to develop leaders. I just didn't. I was happy with being me, doing me, getting rewarded, getting everything I was getting from the work that I was doing. But now I realized I had to take a step back and say, this is not about me, and start distributing and emptying my bucket into other people and watch other people climb and grow and, get seen and get recognized and I'm just sitting like, man, if it wasn't for me, but it wasn't about me. You know what I mean? So, my sense of purpose or understanding what my calling is came from me just doing my job and wanting to be good at my job, and then had to realized I had to take a turn because part of my responsibility and part of my job was to start beginning to develop people, which I realized was a gift from God, not something that was naturally, I knew. It's just I almost kind of stumbled on it, if you will.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
How did you all discover your purpose? Those of you who are hanging out with us tonight, how did you discover your purpose? And I will honestly say, like, purpose came for me from that vision, because I earnestly was going down the road of my dream, and it was like all the brakes were thrown on, and for me it happened. It happens my senior year, right before I chose college. So it was like, okay, well, if this is what I'm going to do, if this is what you want me to do, then I might as well, if I'm going to school, I might as well go to school for that. I am a teacher by nature, like that. It's also that gifting, right?
mm-hmm.
It was never something I had to try to do. When I tell people, or when I used to tell people that I worked at Walbrook, they would be like, "Oh my gosh, how do you deal with those kids?" And I'm like, "They're wonderful. I don't have any problems. Like I don't understand why you have problems. That I don't have problems." And I always saw the bigger picture. It wasn't about teaching them English. It was about getting to the heart of that individual and helping them move forward. And so that, as I'm starting to see it play out in my life, it's always been about getting to the heart of people who I interact with, who I connect to. It's always been about getting to the heart. And so, like I said, for me, I discovered the gift as I followed the path, as I followed the vision. So how did you all discover purpose? I discovered the gift that led to purpose. So how did you all discover purpose? Or are you still attempting to find purpose? Y'all chime in. How did you discover purpose? And was it tied to your gift? Or are you still attempting to find purpose? Are you still looking for the place where your gift is designed to fit in the world while you're here, what you're meant to do? So how did you discover purpose? And if you haven't yet, what are you doing right now to get into the flow of purpose so that you can move from dream to vision? Because I think those things are tied together. I think a dream inspires us, like you said, to be great and to explore our gifts. But once we get into those spaces and places and have the opportunity to develop our relationship with God, then He starts showing us how, very specifically, that dream can now be switched over, that gift can be used. So again, I'm asking, do you know your purpose? How did you discover it? How are you using your gift to discover vision? Or are you still in the place of dream? So how would you define dream, babe? Y'all come on, talk to us. We see you on there. Have a little chat with us. Let us know what you think. How would you discover dream? Define dream.
How would I define dream?
Mm-hmm.
I would define dream as a representation of one's desire or influences that surround he or she.
A representation of your desire.
Mm-hmm. And your surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
Your surroundings can influence your desire.
One of the things that it seems like you pointed out, I don't think you intended to, but it seems like you pointed out that having a dream or dreaming rather, is a privilege.
Mm-hmm.
Because you were like, I wasn't really dreaming about my life. I was just surviving.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I would probably have to think on that a little bit
Right.
more. I mean, I don't know. I think as kids, we all,
We
you
all
know,
dream.
the first question that sparks a dream is,
What do
"Who
you
you want to be when you grow up?"
Mhm.
Right? That typically where that, you know, in my humble opinion, would spark someone to begin to dream. Period.
Right.
You know, and that question in itself is about you.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right. And someone asked well 2 weeks ago, it wasn't last week, but 2 weeks ago, whether or not we should tell kids, not to dream, but or encourage kids not to dream, but to have a vision. And I think that
Nah.
concept is too. I think that concept is
it's too heavy. It's too
it's too heavy.
demanding.
Yeah, it's too dense. That's the word I
Yeah.
was looking for. It's too dense for a child. I think that's where I think having a dream isn't in and of itself bad.
No. It catapults you into vision.
Exactly. It catapults you into vision. It inspires you to be great.
Mm-hmm.
But it can't stop at a dream. You can't stop at, okay, this is what I've always dreamt of doing or dreamt of becoming. It has to move past that. And like we've already said, the first part of it moving past that is having a relationship with God, but then also seeking to see how that your gifts are used, but how they are used by God for the benefit of others. And then allowing Him to draw you, because James made an excellent point that your vision pulls you, it pulls you into where you're supposed to go, where you're supposed to be, and it's often accompanied by a wrestling. It's not. It's very rare that it's just okay. I'll do it, because vision very often, I think, also um, places a demand on you or a sacrifice that you're not really interested in making. Well, I mean, that was my experience. Let me say it that way. That was my experience, for me, that sacrifice is what revealed purpose. So I asked the question, what? How did you all discover purpose? And or have you yet? Making this sacrifice to move into vision, to have the relationship with God, and B, to make these choices that were uncomfortable, that were going to take me outside of my comfort zone and also take me away from what I really wanted to do, and also take me away from some lucrative opportunities. But in that sacrifice, I found out that I was very, very gifted at a particular thing and was able to move into those spaces.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did you all discover your purpose? What are you going to say?
Nothing.
What are you?
Oh no, I was just looking at something in Joel about dreams, but
What about?
it doesn't really apply.
Just over here looking at text.
Yeah. It was a scripture that I read, and I can't remember where it was at, but it was talking about visions and dreams. I can't find it. I thought I would kind of look for it. I can't remember exactly where it was.
Well, what else are you thinking along these lines? Because I've said a lot.
I just had a long day, so.
I know you have. But if y'all not gonna talk to us, we gonna go ahead and, because we got a sleeping baby and an opportunity to go to sleep too. So if y'all not gonna talk back to us, we gonna cut this short this week. You have any final thoughts?
Chase your dreams, make room for vision.
So should we chase our dreams?
Yes,
though?
I do.
Why do you think we should chase our dreams?
I believe dreams allow you to find your personality,
Mm,
but vision allow you to discover who you are. Right? There's a difference between your personality and who you are. You know, who you are is
that is
the best
so
version of you
good.
or the
I
worst
hope
version
y'all
of you
heard
during
that.
difficult times.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
who you are.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And dreams allow you to, you know, develop and cultivate this personality. You
right,
know what I mean?
right.
So yeah, I believe everyone should chase their dreams. I do.
If you that was so good. He said your dreams help you develop your personality, but the hard times in the vision rather tells you who you are, who you
Mhm.
actually are.
Because the vision is about the process. It's about
Yes,
growth. It's about maturity. It's about evolving. It's about becoming. It's about changing. So you know, whatever way you choose to use in the method of fulfilling vision. You know, with dreams, you know, it doesn't demand your your personality. It just demands you to work. But within that, you have to realize who you are
Mm.
from a personality standpoint.
Mm.
Because the vision is more about the process, developing character, you know, stamina. You know what I mean? Calluses.
It's long term.
You know, it's long term,
Yeah.
and you can kind of get lost in vision if you don't develop skills of self awareness, because you get so focused on doing the work that you kind of miss out on yourself. You know, so dreams are more
That's so
personable.
good.
You know, it's about me,
Right.
and that's why I said make room for vision. Because
For dreams.
yeah, when you're chasing your dreams, make room for
Oh,
vision.
okay.
Because ultimately, vision is going to take over.
Mm.
Ultimately, vision is going to take over. But yeah, so
That's good.
yes.
That's good. All right, y'all. Since y'all not talking tonight, on that note, we're gonna say good night. Thanks for hanging out with us. We really do appreciate it. Um, I think that this was a really, this one over here dropping all these truth bombs. Give us some feedback, even if you need to do it in a DM. If you need to have some side conversations, we are willing to do that. Listen, guys, we are reintroducing, bringing back Grace Givers, and one of our grace giving opportunities in 2023 is with a nursing home that we visit. I think it's 3 or 4 times a year. Is that
A
correct?
month.
A year. You do it once a month?
What do you mean? Oh no, go ahead. You're right. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. We visit 3 or 4 times a year. And so we would love for you to join with us to participate as a grace giver. Just shoot us an email. Let us know you would like to become a grace giver and participate on one of those services at the nursing home. We'll give you more information and give you a grace giver t-shirt. So you can be on our Grace Givers team. So that email is graceministries.ex@gmail.com. Again, that's graceministries.ex@gmail.com. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Have a great night.
Have a good night.
Bye.